Welcome to the Passion Behind the Art Show. It's all about diving in with individuals to learn the story behind their passion. It's your host, Daryl Pinna. Now, I have a bunch of new stuff that I'm planning to do a bunch of giveaways. I really did a few giveaways leading up to Creative South, and I really enjoy just giving away stuff. So go to passionbehindtheart.com to sign up, and I'm going to be doing exclusive shows and giveaways and discounts and just giving back to you awesome people that have been listening to this podcast. Thank you for everyone that purchased a shirt from Cotton Bureau, the podcast shirt from Cotton Bureau. Can't wait to see you guys. Once you get your shirt, share a pic with you wearing it, and you may just get something. Matter of fact, you are. So share a pic once you get your Passion Behind the Art shirt, and something will be on your way. And just hashtag Passion Behind the Art, or tag the podcast handle, which is PBTA Podcast. Alright, so let's jump into this week's episode. Another awesome individual.
Well, right now I have a guest with me, Kelly Johnson, designer. Met him last night, and this dude is awesome, man. We had a blast just hanging last night, and I was just like, you know what? Let's have him on the podcast. Kelly, welcome, bro.
Welcome, Daryl. How you doing, my man?
Hey, man. How you doing? I'm excited to have you on. Kelly, tell me a little bit about your story. How did this design journey start? That good stuff.
All right, man. I'll try and give you the brief version of it. I started drawing when I was I think I drew before I could walk. And I started drawing monster trucks when I was a kid, and that moved into collecting comic books as an older kid. And I started drawing comic book characters, and I was probably in 6th grade, 5th grade. I said, you know what? I'm going to be an artist. That's what I want to do. And so I kept drawing, and as I got older, got into high school, I realized that I wasn't going to make much money doing what I was passionate about. So I started looking around and saying, okay, well, how do I make a career out of this?
Okay.
And so I got into high school, and I found graphic design. And so I started doing logos and stuff for my school, just helping out and for different programs and cranking that out. And then I went to college at Utah State for graphic design, and I graduated in, who cares when I graduated? I graduated a long time ago. And I've been doing design since. I went right to work for a real estate company and just doing marketing and brochures and flyers for real estate. And started volunteering at my church and asked them, hey, how can I help out? What can I do? And about a year later, they sat me down for lunch and said, how'd you like to do this full time? And now I'm 10 years in doing design full time, and
that's awesome,
loving
bro.
it. So
that's a big deal.
It's worked out well.
Yeah, especially for a ministry. It's fewer and far between that ministries are able to hire a full-time designer.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I was a second full-time staff there, and so it's from a perspective of how you hire, it was a little unconventional, I guess. And but we've done real well, and the church has grown real well, and it's awesome to be able to create for something I believe in.
Oh,
because sometimes you create and you don't always believe in what you got to create for, but I get to do it, and I believe in it every time, and it also makes it hard to get the project done.
So how did you hear? Why are you here? Why are you at Creative South? How did that come about?
So a couple years ago, I started asking the question, what am I going to do if I don't do this? Speaking about ministry. And I determined I would still be a designer. That's not going to change. But I had spent the last almost decade of my life becoming a better leader and a better, I guess, not really a pastor, but a discipler in my church and run a ministry. And so it was like, well, as a designer, I haven't really developed my skills. I haven't done anything to make myself a better designer. And there's nobody around me, because I'm the only one that works for our church. There's no one around me challenging me, trying to make me better. So I wasn't getting any better. I was just stagnant.
Wow.
And I was like, this has got to change. I got to be a better designer. And so I started to look outside. I tried to look for mentors at a distance, people who maybe they're in my community, maybe they're across the country, but with modern technology, I can connect with them. And so I started looking around, and everybody started talking about Creative South. And you see all these reviews. I went there, come as friends, leave as family. I'm like, well, that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. So last year I packed my bags and came out, and I got delayed, and I missed part of the conference and kind of didn't get my feet wet the way I wanted to. But this year's been a little bit different story. I got here on time, and been connecting with people left and right, and it's been awesome. Just feeling part of the family again.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That is like so awesome. So, all right. So, what would you say was like the hardest struggle you had to overcome in your career?
Say that again?
What would you say was the hardest struggle to overcome in your career? What would you say was the hardest struggle you had to overcome in your career?
So, it's a couple things. I think one of the hardest things I deal with is not having somebody right next to me to look to or challenge me or to push me forward. It's real easy to just get stuck in tunnel vision and just crank out work, but work that never gets better, work that never improves. And I think for me, like learning to look to others to make me better,
Right.
was a great way to overcome that. And I just got so complacent for so long and didn't create work of value. And then I looked at myself and I said, wow, I'm not a good designer. I'm really bad at what I do. And I got down on myself, and that depression, that imposter syndrome kind of sinks in. And it's like, man, like, why can't I perform? Why can't I do this? And I realized it's because I'm not trying to be any better than I am. I'm in this complacent space where I'm just doing stuff, but not trying to be better. And if I'm not looking and finding inspiration and finding people to challenge me and make me different, I'm not going to be a better designer.
Wow.
I'm just going to be exactly what I am today, tomorrow.
Right. Wow. Wow. That's deep. So, like, who would you say were some of the people that you draw energy from, your support system, some of the people that even got you out of that funk?
So looking like locally at some guys next to me who are designers, a friend of mine named Jeremy Wold. He was a great guy and just kind of a peer friend to talk to and work through that stuff with. And we'd have coffee every now and then and just talk through stuff. And I looked away at a distance, and I found, of course, Creative South people like Kyle Courtwright, who's doing Logo Wave, and started watching people like Matt Dawson. And seeing the stuff he was doing, like, man, that's inspiring stuff. I can do that, and connecting with Sully, and he's got some great stuff out there. And so just find a community of friends to connect with, and build off, and we'll see what Mike Jones was doing. And,
Right.
of course, all those big names.
Right.
Just discovered the Von Glishkas and the Sean Fergusons of the world. I was like, man, I thought I felt bad before.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, what would you say you're most excited about right now?
So in the last couple years that I've been trying to actually look outside myself and improve, for the first time in probably almost a decade, a long time, I'm excited to just create. It's one of those things where I got so stuck and so stagnant doing the same thing, and creating became bland. It became just this thing I do to earn a paycheck. And now, like, I get a paycheck to do this, but I love getting up in the morning and say, okay, what am I going to create today? What am I going to build today? What am I going to do today? And the projects I was doing at work that had become bland and mundane, I look forward to. And, like, how can I make this better? How can I make people excited about this thing? I'm talking about ministry, I'm talking about working in church, and like, okay, I can take this person, and they might come in and say, oh, that's cool, I want to be part of that. And if I can tell a story, that's like, no, I want to be part of that. I want to get in the mix, and I want to do that, and I want that to be life change. I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to design and communicate in a way that changes the status quo of people's lives.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. So, would you say the best moment of your life was last night at the dinner table?
It ranks up there, man. That was a good time.
All right, hey man, you gotta be here to experience this. You gotta be a Creative South. We're not gonna tell you what happened at the dinner table, but you gotta be here to experience this awesome place. So, what's next? What's next for you? What you got going on next? What you got planned? What's some of the things that you're aspiring to do once you leave Creative South?
So a lot of personal change this year for me. Very practical. So my goals for when I get back is I want to start working on some personal projects to hopefully get some passive income out there.
Wow. Cool.
So I want to design a couple shirts, get them up on Cotton Bureau. I like to dabble my hand a little bit of typography and try and get a couple fonts made, get them up on Creative Market, and just starting to crank out some stuff that I actually just enjoy doing on a side project and design for a little bit of personal fun.
Oh, nice. So what are you doing when you're not have to design? What is some of the things that you're fun that you like to do when you're not designing?
So I'm a massive soccer fan, and I am a U9 competition soccer coach.
Oh, really?
So I spend hours and hours and hours coaching youth soccer, and I love it. I coach my boy. I have two boys. I coach my older boy, and we travel around and play competition soccer, and so that takes a ton of time. And I live in Utah. I live in Salt Lake City, so I'm an outdoor guy. I like to do some biking and some climbing and some hiking and watch me sports from time to time. I run a fantasy football league.
Oh,
I can.
Dude, I had one. Like, we did it for like 3 years. That thing was awesome, but it was just too much to maintain with all the other stuff that I was doing.
So it's insane how big it can get.
Yeah.
We've got a fantasy football league with 10 teams and 2 leagues, and there's promotion and relegation. It's awesome. We have a blast.
Yeah, it's to be a commissioner for anybody out there. To be a commissioner for a fantasy league, yo, it's work. It's like it's work. It's work.
People are always giving you money too. It's great.
Oh my gosh. So, where can people to go to learn more about what you're doing, what you got going on? What's some of the stuff?
Best way is probably to find me on Instagram or Twitter at @KelDesigned, and if you want to go check it out, check out Capital Church at Capital Church. You can see a lot of my work there. It's probably a better curation of my work than my own page. But hopefully one day I'll get a website up soon. So
that's awesome, man, dude. We didn't plan this, but I really appreciate you coming on to kind of chat, be on the podcast live here at Creative South. Dude, it was awesome meeting you. Like, I'm excited after we were done with this to hang out with everybody else and to hang out and to like build a relationship after Creative South. Because that's literally how me and Kyle met. We met last year at Creative South, and like, you wouldn't have known that. You would have think like seeing us, you think we've known each other for like years.
Not cool. You guys are like roommates now, right?
Yeah. It's like, but bro, I mean, like, we've just been on a whirlwind, just getting to know each other for 1 year, and it's been like I love that, dude. So I mean, Creative South has afforded me the opportunity to make some awesome relationships. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, man. I love it. In fact, that's my number one thing for being out here is to just be in this community of people, not just here at Creative South, but to be in community with like-minded people everywhere throughout the year.
Right.
Whether it be people in accountability helping you work through your design, or whether it be just support. Like, hey, man, how you doing? What are you working on these days? And
I mean, dude, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to build that, because once Creative South is done, like, all of this is gone. So you have to build that community on your own outside of a conference.
Absolutely.
And to be able to have that around you on a consistent basis, it's an awesome feeling, man.
Absolutely. And I don't know how other people are, but I am horrible at social media. It's not like I'm on social media all the time. Like, hey, man, what you up to? What's going on? I'm commenting this. I have to, like, slap myself in the face 5 times before I get myself to do something on social media. And so this is my challenge to, like, get outside of myself and do that and say, okay, I'm nervous about reaching out to this person because I have some fear about how they'll react, but I got to get over myself and do that because I've never had somebody react poorly. It has not happened.
Right.
Everybody's like, hey, man, I love you. How can I help out? I'll be there for you. What's going on? And we have such a great community, everybody here at Creative South. And to be able to be part of that beyond Creative South it's key.
Right.
Success as a designer.
Yes, man. We need each other. It's a fact. We need each other.
Absolutely.
Well, dude, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it, man. This has been a blast.
My pleasure.
Kelly.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Go to passionbeyondtheart.com to learn more about what's going on and to be a part of the Facebook group, the giveaways, and much more, especially the in-depth shows that's coming up. Those will be exclusive shows. They'll be very in-depth to a particular subject matter. All right, so go to passionbeyondtheart.com. Be blessed.